What is going on, First Descendants? Welcome to another First Descendant video. Today I want to talk to you guys about how you need to start prepping for the ultimate Freyna. I wanted to make this video a little bit earlier due to the fact that I know a lot of you guys work, some of you guys go to school, some of you might not have enough time, and I think a month or less than a month should give you enough time to get all the pieces and have it ready for when Ultimate Freyna comes out. I'm also going to be talking about the way her kit works right now, and what the developers have said, what it's going to change on her kit, and why I'm going to recommend certain things. I'm going to go over the best modules for weapons, best modules for her to have. I'm also going to go over the best reactors, best external components, and what you need to farm, because unfortunately, unlike other Descendants where you can kind of slack off a little bit and not put in the full effort and the full work, with Freyna you actually need to put almost everything and spec everything in order for her to be extremely functional. Now, with that being said, let's take a look at her kit and explain just a little bit about how she is meant to be played and what currently is wrong with her and how the changes are going to fix her. Okay, now when I say wrong with her is you're not going to be seeing these crazy 2-second boss kills. Yeah, you could get kills with her on bosses with 8 seconds, 10 seconds, but it's something that doesn't happen very often, or a lot of people aren't doing it, but you still could do it. Now, she can't do this on every single boss like some characters like Haley can, but she could still kill bosses within 8 seconds to 10 seconds. Now, I expect her to kind of do a little bit of more damage now that we get to the update, and we're going to talk a little bit about that. So let's go to her kit real quick and explain how her kit works. So going over her passive real quick, guys, she uses a thing called Contingent Link, which is going to increase the toxic skill power by a number of nearbys inflicted by poison. Now, that is a beautiful description. The problem is that it doesn't work the way it's intended to work. Because what tends to happen is her first #1 ability, which is called Venom and Trauma, what this does is when you shoot it at an enemy, it starts dealing dot damage, right? Damage over time. And basically the way this works, and the way it works on other games, is when the damage over time gets applied, and you apply another damage of the toxin ability, it should literally stack up upon that toxic, if that makes sense. So I apply toxin, and then if I apply more toxin via another variable, it should stack up with that first damage toxin that I applied. Unfortunately, currently right now, her kit doesn't work this way. Her kit, when you apply the toxin damage and you reapply another toxin damage, it doesn't stack up, but instead it nullifies it and resets it. So that's currently the problem that we have with her, and I feel like just by those simple changes, if they were to do something where you get a certain amount of toxin applied to the first hit, direct hit, and then if you apply more toxin, it expands to other enemies or nearby enemies, I think something like that would be really awesome, and just fixing that would make her even better than she currently is. In addition to that, this is her second skill is another one that is called Toxic Stimulation. This one, once again, guys, it's going to grant allies, pretty much plague body armor. And this one is, again, not as effective. The other one that she uses is the Putrid Venom, which theoretically should coincide, by you applying this and you applying this, you should be able to stack on that toxic that I explained to. But unfortunately, it doesn't stack up. So both of them are pretty good alone, but if they stacked up, they would be amazing. And talking about stacking up, right, it's this one right here, which is the Venom and Baptism, which is giving her like a special weapon that she can use to fire on enemies. And this actually gets a lot of the stuff from the current weapon you equip to be able to do that damage. Now, it would be awesome if you applied this and applied that, and then you hit this, you get 3 stacks, right? That would be the ideal option. Currently, right now, that's not the way it works. But like I said, they did mention already that they are going to be changing her kit, and they are going to be reworking the way her kit currently works. So I do expect Ultimate Freyna to be pretty badass and, do a lot of damage. That's why I want to make sure you guys are prepared. So I hope that kind of brief description gives you a better insight of, for her personally, and what you need to look for when you're actually trying to build her up. This in particular is not going to be a build video. This is going to be mostly the stuff that you need to go get right now. I'm going to tell you guys what are the most difficult ones, and you should definitely start grinding right now. So it's going to be extremely important that you pay attention to when we talk about the reactors, because those change by week, and you're going to want to make sure you start farming them for those specific weapons. So the first weapon we're going to be talking about is this one called the Fallen Hope. This is by far one of the easiest ones to get due to the fact that you really don't have to go kill Colossus. It's just a matter of you doing a mission over and over until you actually get the drop, and that is the Fallen Hope. The reason we like the Fallen Hope is because of the kind of like the, you know, the main ability, which is going to be called, or its unique ability, which is called Perdition, which when you apply the ability, right, it's going to give you poison, and it's going to inflict that to enemies and damage them over time, which is really good. And that's why this particular weapon is kind of like her main tier weapon when it comes to using Freyna. So this is going to be your number one weapon that I highly recommend you get, because if her character does get buffed and you could actually kind of trigger this poison ability with the 1 or the 2 or the 4, it's going to make this weapon even more OP. Now, one thing I want to say is you got to make sure, guys, you got to make sure 100% you get 5 of these weapons. Okay, first you're going to get your first weapon, then you're going to get your second weapon, and that's going to be used to enhance its unique ability, because the higher this goes, the better it's going to do, and the higher chance you have of actually triggering that effect. So, guys, once again, you got to need 5 of these. Okay, the next weapon, which is going to be the hardest one to get, is this one right here, which is the Secret Garden. Currently, right now, the Secret Garden is a sleeper when it comes to Freyna, but it's one weapon that I highly recommend, and I think it outshines the Fallen Hope just a little bit. But the reason that is because of the way her current kit works right now. If her kit changes and, you know, it does what it's supposed to do, Fallen Hope will probably be like the number 1 tier slot when it comes to her. If it stays the same and they change other mechanics, then the Secret Garden will be your number 1 to go with, right? But both of these you need to get. Now, this is going to be the harder one to get due to the fact that this has a couple of the mods that drop for the Secret Garden, drop with a 32% chance rate, but there is one particular one, which one of the blueprints drops it at a whopping 10%, one of the lowest percentiles when it comes to weapons. So you're going to be farming this quite a lot, so I highly recommend, if you don't have your Secret Garden, now is the time to start farming for this one, because this is probably going to be the one that's going to take you the most, or you probably have some parts already, so you might as well just start crafting them. And the reason we like this weapon, and it does so well with her, once again, is for her unique ability, which applies pest control. Currently, right now, the way pest control works, it's not bouncing off of her ability, because remember, like I said earlier, her kit does not allow you to stack up the toxin applied. But the great thing about this one is that it works with both of her abilities, right? So it says, when using a dimension skill, recover custom resources with the current set. When using a tech skill, grants a unique ability called pest control. So when she uses dimension, she uses tech, and the most skills she currently uses is tech. So you're going to be applying this pest control, and this will allow us to, if she does get enhanced, to pretty much trigger this pest control almost, 100% of the time. So right now you can't, but if it does happen, that's going to be kind of best in slot. Now, the other weapon, there's actually 2 other weapons I recommend. One is going to be the Thunder Cage. The reason I recommend the Thunder Cage is because this is going to be your mobbing weapon, due to the fact that you could actually build this to have a lot of toxin and apply the toxin. And the great thing is, when you are using the Thunder Cage and you blow people up, if her ability and her kit gets done correctly, you probably will be applying that toxin within a chain. So definitely Thunder Cage is going to be your mobbing weapon. And then the last weapon we want to recommend, and that's going to be the Python, which is another really good weapon. The reason we love the Python is because it's really good with weak damage, and this is going to be kind of like a trial test to see how well it does with bosses. But those are the best 4 weapons you can get for her. If you don't have weapons, any of these weapons, start grinding those weapons right there. That should give you a lot of things to actually work for. Now, I want to know in the comment section down below, do you have all these weapons? Are you missing any of these weapons? Are you excited for Ultimate Freyna? Let me know what are you mostly excited for. Please let me know in the comment section down below. Also, guys, if you need help with any of this, we stream daily on Twitch. Stop by and hang out. Link is down below. Okay, now moving on to her Reactor. Okay, so the Reactor is extremely important, guys. You're going to be looking for a toxic mechanic reactor. Optional conditions here are going to be weapons like the Fallen Hope. So you're going to want to make sure that the actual mount says Fallen Hope. Mine currently has a Thunder Cage mount, but you're going to be looking for either a Secret Garden or a Fallen Hope. Currently this week, you're going to be able to farm for the Fallen Hope. If you want to know where you farm that, I have a video going over the best reactor farms. So go do that right now. I'm also going to give you the stats you're looking for. So you're looking for this one to drop with Toxic and Tech. And actually, I'll show you guys where the toxic and tech. Those are gonna be your like #1 stats skill power boost that you're looking here, because you want to make sure your toxic and tech are boosted. In addition to that stuff that you're looking for when it comes to the actual reactor itself and sub category. #1 in slot, guys, is gonna be attack against Colossus. That's gonna be your #1 priority. You're gonna try to get this in gold. Purple is good, but gold is what you're really looking for. The secondary could probably be purple, but Colossus one is really good. Now this is going to be mostly for bossing, so you're going to kind of have to get 2 reactors, one with Colossus and one without Colossus. What you're looking for as your secondary is skill crit hit damage. That's going to be your secondary module that you're going to be looking for and trying to get as much as you possibly can, due to the fact that that's going to give you the best bang for your buck as opposed to anything. Now, the only thing that you're going to be changing when it comes to mobbing is that instead of getting the attack against Colossus, you're going to look for, I don't think I have one, but let's see, you're going to look for one that has Toxin, so I don't have one, but instead of the Dimension skill power boost ratio, you're going to be looking for the Toxin skill boost, right? So you're going to look for the one that says Toxin skill boost, and that's going to be your best in slot for mobbing. So 1 reactor for mobbing, 1 reactor for bossing. If you theoretically don't need the one for mobbing, but that's just to min-max your build and to make sure you have the best build for Freyna if you have those 2 reactors. But you can literally live with just the crit damage and the attack against Colossus, or you can kind of intertwine them, attack against Colossus and Toxin when you're mobbing, or vice versa. But I personally would love if you had 2. It's easy to farm right now. We have about 2 to 3 weeks to actually do that. Now, external components. Now, for the external components, guys, you're going to need a Slayer set. Slayer set's going to be a maximum requirement. The reason why is because it's going to give you more round capacity. The reason we want round capacity is because when she uses her 4 ability, the more rounds we have, the more bullets she's going to be able to fire, and that's going to be amazing. And when you have a set of 4, it's going to increase your magazine size +9 as well, and it's going to increase your skill power. So that makes it really good, guys. So do keep that in mind. The Slayer set's best in slot. What you're looking for here, guys, is max HP in gold. And so this one, mine says purple, but you're looking for max HP here for gold and MP recovery out of combat. That would be ideal. You're looking for gold max MP here and shield recovery out of combat in gold. And for this one, you're looking for a gold defense, MP recovery here. And for this one, you're just looking for max shield, kind of what I have here. Anything else you get in that blue slot that I have right there is perfectly fine, and you guys should be good with that. All right, so now let's take a look at her Descendant modules, and I'm just going to give you the guys that currently right now the best in slot. Now do keep in mind, guys, that she is going to get brand new mods for her ultimate kit, so this could change. This is going to be, in case the one that comes out is not that great, this is going to be the best in slot. So if you don't have it, now is the time to start farming it. You're going to look for this one called the Neurotoxin Synthesis. This is going to be the best in slot. So you're going to want to make sure you start farming for this one. If you don't have it, now is the time to start farming it. Make sure you guys get it. Not that difficult to get. Basically what this is going to do, it's going to modify the effect of the rune's trauma and does not spread poison, but inflicts attack reduction and weaken regeneration. So this is going to be really good for bossing. Really good for mobbing. This is kind of right now her best in slot. I do feel personally that the one that's going to come for the ultimate ones are going to be really good, and it's going to kind of replace this one. But this is still good to have because you never know exactly if it's going to be good or not. Because look what happened with Luna. Some of her ultimates weren't that great, so do keep that in mind. This is right now the best in slot. Now, the other modules we're going to be looking for, and these are going to be extremely important for the weapons themselves, are going to be the following. So for the let me pull up the weapon here. For this one, for the Fallen Hope, you could theoretically run these on any of the slots. So when I mean any of the slots, it's any of the weapons. So for the Fallen Hope, you're going to be looking for Fiesta, the Firing Fiesta one. Let me get rid of that. So you're going to be looking for Firing Fiesta. What this is going to do is that when you reload, rounds are not consumed for 3 seconds of cooldown. One of the main things that we want to make sure that we have with Freyna is we have an uptime of when we're using her skills and when we're using her abilities. So we're going to make sure that we have this Firing Fiesta mod within our inventory. This one could be a little bit tricky to get, so this is going to be one that you might want to farm if you don't have it as well. And this one primarily fits mostly when it comes and works best with the Secret Garden. Like I said, this is not a build video, but I will have a build video going over on her best build weapon for weapons and also for herself, for her kit. But I want to make sure I got you guys started on what you need. The other one you need is going to be sharp precision shot, which is going to be really good. This one works good for both of them. It works good for the Fallen Hope, and it also works very well for the Secret Garden. Basically, what this is going to do, it's going to reduce your fire rate. It's going to take it away, right, when you're pulling the trigger. But your fire rate's going to get a plus 4% and also a firearm attack of plus 6 every 1.6 seconds, and it stacks up to 10 times. This does really, really good well when you actually activate your 4 ability. So this is going to pair fairly, very well when it comes to using her. So those are the 2 main weapon mods that you're going to need for her that actually enhance her kit when it comes to using her. Apart from that, everything within the weapon is kind of stays almost relatively the same when it comes to putting the kit together. Now, of course, one thing I am going to recommend is if you guys go to your toxic here, make sure your toxin enhancements and your poison priorities are all leveled up. The reason why is that these are going to be very, very well. So we have Toxic Conductor is when you attack enemies inflicted with poison, which theoretically you should be applying poison. If her kit does get enhanced, it's going to increase your arm attack by 8%. So this is going to be primarily one that's going to be very well kitted for her. This is also another Toxin Prior, so Toxin Attack 13% and Reload Modifier. And of course the Toxin Enhancement, which is going to add Toxin to a specific weapon. So whenever I'm running the Thunder Cage, I always like to pop one in this here. And I just want to make sure that it's fully leveled up when I'm actually doing that, right? So the great thing, this is like exactly what I told you guys before, is if you guys start using these, which a lot of people don't talk about, this probably might be the first video you actually hear this from, is if you start using these, right? Which, as you see here, I'm using the 26% with the electricity. If you start using these on your weapons, you're going to notice that when you're using the right Descendant that's actually applying the particular toxin ability or particular electricity ability, you're going to see a nice boost within that weapon. So do keep that in mind. So you want to make sure you at least level up these 3 to have them ready for when she comes out. Overall, in general, that is going to be like the best stuff you could get for her currently right now, that you could literally go do this right now in the game and pick it up. So when she comes out, you already have the weapons, you already have the reactors, you already have the external components, you already have the mod. All you have to do is level her up. Now, talking about leveling her up, another thing that you're probably going to need as well, guys, that I want to mention, and you should start doing because it is a pain, and we have a long time to do it, but is this right here, guys, is getting your crystallization catalyst. You're going to make sure you guys get enough. I have 19 of these, and you want to make sure you get your mushrooms, which I currently have 2 of these, and I should theoretically start putting these to cook, just to have them ready to level up any new weapon that comes out, or to level her personally up to make sure she hits level 80 and you have enough crystallization catalyst to put letters within her kit. And there you guys have it. That is going to be the get ready for Freyna Ultimate Freyna guide. Let me know in the comment section down below if I missed anything. If I did, let me know what that was. And if you have any suggestions, also let them know. Don't forget, guys, we stream every day on Twitch. Stop by and hang out. Thank you guys for watching. I'll catch you guys on the next one.